all right, you got the part and you're going to go on set. What do you need from the director? What is it you guys are always looking for? Is it, do you want a director to let you run loose and then they rein you in, or do you want a director to talk to you up front and kind of define the parameters and then let you go? So we'll start with Bryan.
The way that I like to direct is probably also the way I like to be directed. It's that whole golden rule thing. I tend to let the actors do whatever comes naturally to them first, and then I validate those choices and say, I like this, I like this, I like this. I'd like to see more here, I'd like to see less here. I'd like to. So it usually what that does is it gives them that feeling of safety, like that their choices are valid. And I like that too. I don't like to be over-directed when I first walk in the door to sit down. I like for the director to ask me where I'm going to go with it, what I was seeing, and then to say, okay, well, I didn't see it that way, I saw it this way, this way, this way, or to tell me what parts of what I brought in they liked or didn't like is fine. But to me, there's that whole validation process as a director. It gives people that safe place to experiment, because if they're locked up because they've been given all these parameters, you're not going to get the best performance out of them. So I try to direct the way I like to be directed, which is let me do it my way, and then tell me what you don't like, tell me what you do like, and then dial me in, or take me aside and tell me. But that's how I usually like to do it.
Kristina, what kind of words of wisdom are passed to you that you like?
Well, I like to have a conversation with the director before we start shooting, just to get an idea of their vision for the film, their idea of who the character is, how I fit in the story. And so I kind of come in kind of feeling like we're on the same page there. And the thing I really, a couple of things. One thing from a director that I prefer is just tell me. If you don't want me to move my eyebrows, tell me, don't move your eyebrows. Just don't try and come around with a different way of, I actually had that direction, by the way. Don't move your eyebrows. That was in Bunyan. It's a visual medium. If that's what they want to see, then just tell me. I've had directors try and get a reaction from me by directing the other actor, and when I'm the one on camera and it's their back to camera and they're the one getting all the notes aside, it just feels like somebody's going to jump out at me or something. So I just want to know, just tell me what you want, and that will work. And so I think that was it.
What advice have you been given on the set through a director that either helped or didn't help?
Well, in an overall picture, in an ideal situation, once you've been cast, I think that should be about 90% of it. If you've gone through the audition process and you've gone through a callback process and then you're going to show up on set, I think it also depends on the type of project, but your performance should pretty much be to where the director is looking for it. That's been my experience most of the time. But then the actual workings with the director, the best scenario has been in doing a film with a larger role is to be able to have a chance to do a table read, to do some rehearsals, or anything before you actually get to filming. And a lot of times in the indie world, that can help out for several reasons, for not having to do so many takes, finding out what the director wants beforehand before you get all of your equipment and everybody there and all the people. So, but I do enjoy that, and I enjoy having that time of preparation beforehand. As far as being in a situation where it's maybe a bigger budget thing, when you get to a set and you're working in maybe like a day player role and you've auditioned and gone through the callback process, that's pretty much the way your performance is going to be. And I guess I don't expect too much interaction on a larger scale production like that in a smaller role. So I think it's my responsibility as the actor to show up to do what I've done the 2 other times they got me the role, and to try to be consistent in that. But working with a director as far as getting notes or changing things on the fly, I would say what Kristina says. It's like, I'm just going to repeat what both of you said. Work with the actor directly. That's what I appreciate. Respect them enough that if there is an issue, to pull them aside, and And in a film setting, I think that's the best. That's the way I would prefer to work. In a commercial setting, and I don't know if you want to get into that much. In a commercial setting, if you're working with a client, a lot of the times the client will say something to the director in front of you, and then the director says it right to you. You just got to kind of get an understanding of the environment that you're in,
Right.
and be okay with it. But
One other thing, a lot of times I get asked to do really emotional scenes, and so those, I think some directors want to be all happy and jokey right before the scene, and I kind of might not be the most fun right before that scene happens. I don't need to be in the back room crying before the scene, but sometimes it's nice just to have it be a little bit more somber leading into that. But everybody works differently. I know some people don't need that, and some people need more of that. So that's usually something I've discussed with the director. But I've had directors try and talk me through, while I'm becoming emotional, they're trying to talk to me about things that they think might make me emotional, and it doesn't really work. It's kind of
It's your own space.
yeah, it's really your own thing, and it's kind of not even something that I don't feel comfortable telling people the things I use to trigger, because then it kind of loses the magic too. So those are, I mean, if we're having trouble, then yeah, let's talk about it. But mostly I just need some quiet space for that. So.
One thing I'd tag on. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. No.
Well, I was going to just tag on to what Jon was saying about being in a commercial environment, or when you're doing industrials or something like that. I've had a lot of clients that they want to talk, when I'm directing, they want to talk over my shoulder to my crew and my talent and say, do this, don't do that, do this. I have to take the client aside and say, this is a ship and I'm the captain and they're to do nothing unless I say that. So the client sometimes struggles with that because they have immediate things. So I also have to take the actors aside. So if you want to empower your directors, whenever a client shouts over that director's shoulder, always defer to the director on set and say, is that what you want me to do? Because after the client does that 3 or 4 times, they'll get that nobody's moving unless the director says it. And then the chain, it just becomes easier. But as an actor, you can empower your director by deferring to them whenever, especially in industrials and stuff, when clients are 2 feet away and sometimes they don't respect that boundary. They know they're paying for it, they know it's their gig in their minds, so they'll talk over the director, they'll talk to the camera guy, I don't like the way that looks or whatever, and it's like, no, give it to me, I will tell the crew and everybody, and that way, and it's difficult. But as an actor, you can help that just by deferring to the director and always saying, is that what you want me to do, boss? Because that client doesn't seem happy, but you tell me, it's up to you. And eventually the client will get it, that that's the way things go. But that's...
Yeah, chain of command.